Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Light Review, and welcome to this podcast. And we're lucky to be speaking with Marshall Miles today. Marshall is the recently retired, but not quite retired, if I've read this thing properly, from the CEO position of Inventronics. Marshall, just explain to us what you've not really retired, have you? You've just stepped back from the
Well,
day to day,
so I am retired from the CEO position.
right?
I am still serving on the board of directors for Inventronics. I'm acting as an advisor. I've stepped away from managerial responsibilities, but continue to advise the company on a part-time basis.
Right, okay. That kind of begs the question that somebody else is coming in as the CEO and you're just
Yeah,
the old guy. You're just the old guy who won't go away. Is that how it works?
something like that. So Dr. Gary Hua, who founded the company and was the CEO for the first 10 years, will step back into the role, at least on an interim basis, while we complete the search for a new CEO. But I've been with the company since I guess 18 months after its founding, and have worked with Gary for over 25 years now.
Okay. I think this is one of the interesting. I mean, we are. There's lots of us of an age, and we're all looking to as to what the hell happens next. And so, and I never watched that Succession thing on the television, but the conversation
Nope.
around succession um, seems to be a pretty regular thing, certainly here in the UK, and perhaps with Inventronics. Although we're talking about, I mean, you turn into a huge company. It is still a young company, isn't it? Really,
It
for the
is.
size
It
for the
is.
size that it is, it's a young business.
Yeah. So the company was founded in 2007, late 2007. I joined in early 2009. So it hasn't been around all that long. And when I joined, we really didn't have much in the way of revenue, product, employees. We were very, very much a startup at that point.
Okay, okay, right. Your background is electronics engineering, isn't it? If I've read the
It
CV
is.
properly.
Electrical engineer by education. Started my career with AT&T, working in engineering, and have been doing that for some time.
Because yeah, we've got this thing. I've said this to other people, so people are not surprised to hear it from me. Um, we seem to have a problem in the UK with, dare I, the quality of our management sometimes, because the managers below a certain age seem to have come out of university as fully fledged managers. And I don't get that because I did, I think, more or less what you did. You know, we know what a screwdriver is. We've actually done things with real things, and then we've managed the businesses that those things do or are used within. So, and I've always felt that for me, maybe I'm just old-fashioned. The idea that a manager is someone who knows how the business works, as opposed a manager is someone who knows how to manage, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Is that just me? Is that just this country, or do you recognise that model?
No, there are issues there, and I think one of the challenges is a manager should know how the business works and should know how to manage people. And sometimes we have one or the other, and I think either by themselves are incomplete. And the problem is universities don't turn out people with both sets of skills. And to me, that's something that's been very important is adding to my skill set over time. I've been in engineering, I've been in sales, I've been in project management, I've been in
Mm.
marketing. And so adding that combination of skills over time, I think adds to your effectiveness as a leader because it gives you a broader perspective.
Uh, Absolutely right, and I have never forgotten the day, and I hadn't been long as a lighting designer running a studio when one of the people who worked for me is a good friend after all these years, and she turned to me and she said, It wouldn't hurt you to say thank you every now and again. And I said, I thought I did say thank you. And she said, maybe not enough, John. And I go, right, okay, John, try harder. Look again at those people around you.
Lots of little lessons along the way, and you don't get all of those coming out of school.
No, you certainly don't. You certainly don't. What was the? We can only speak from where we are, and then we look outward. I never intended at the tender age that I got into this business to be doing this. So again, doors open, and so you end up walking down a pathway. And you go, what? Where did I come to here? Did you have that inkling that a CEO-ship of a huge, massive global electronics business was your destiny?
No, absolutely not. And you're right. It's all about looking at opportunities. To me, it's mostly about building your skill set over time. always looking to learn. And it's that combination of skills, I think, that become valuable. I started off in engineering. Wasn't the best engineer in the company by far. From there, I went into sales. I wasn't the best salesperson by far, but in that organization, I was the most technical salesperson, and that had certain value. And from there, I went into marketing, and marketing had engineers coming in, had salespeople coming in, but I was one of the few people who had done both engineering and sales in the marketing organization. So again, broader perspective. And so it's a matter of looking for opportunity, but also continuing to work on the combination of skills that I think is valuable.
I think as well that it's worth referencing this now, that the times that we have lived in, our career, our profession, has not just been a case of, well, here's an industry and I'm going to start down here and I will go until I stop. But the industry that we've been in is absolutely unrecognizable from what it was when we started. So, you talk about going into marketing, but I remember when there was no marketing. So you may well have been the first marketing person to stand up and say, I think I might be able to do that. I can only look at it from a British perspective.
Sure. Most industries are unrecognizable from where they were 20 years ago.
Yeah, maybe if they are recognizable, they're not doing very well, or they've missed a few boats on the way around.
Yeah.
But let's face it, electronics and microelectronics and all the things that have happened to us, that is, well, let's just chuck the computer in, because again, when we started, there were no computers. And when we started, I had someone who typed my letters for me. Yep. And now I can type them myself. She's probably still better than me. But those a constant sea change that meant that we weren't able to sort of sit back and just enjoy the scenery, because there was something else coming at us.
Yeah.
And go on. Sorry.
For a company or a person, I think adaptability is probably one of the most important competitive advantages. Can you adapt to new realities? Can you learn as a company or as an individual? And for me, that's always been one of the exciting parts, is learning new things, constantly challenging myself to adapt and learn. And I think the people and the companies who don't do that really struggle right now.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in agreement with you on that one. Do you find that, again, parallels? There were no lighting designers back in the mid '80s, really, and so the first thing that we had to do was to explain to people what it was that we did and what a lighting designer was. So not only trying to, if you like, sell my product as myself, but to sell my product as a concept. And I think that there's been a lot of that in the electronics world, that to say to people who, I know you've always done it this way, but we'd like you to look at it, maybe doing it this way instead. And that's
Yeah,
part of that
absolutely.
human interaction, isn't it?
Very much so. And for me, I recognize that in product development. Early on, when I was doing a lot of product definition and marketing, I propose a new product concept, and the engineers would go, "Well, nobody buys that." Cool. Well, no, they don't yet because they haven't had it. But I think this meets a need in the market. And so, they look at it from, well, our competitors aren't doing that. Well, no, if our competitors were doing that, we wouldn't be solving a problem. That problem would be solved. So, always looking at how do I do something different to create value, and not that doesn't resonate with everybody. They don't see the opportunity. They look around and say, well, nobody does that yet. That's the point. Is that something that somebody would
That
want to
is
do?
yeah, that is the point. I once stood up on a platform. This is in the early days when we were talking about sustainability and things like that. And a voice, again, another friend of mine, a voice at the back of the room said, "John, why do we care? You're the only one who ever talks about this." I say, I'm the only person who talks about this today. But if you don't get on board, they will come for you. And of course, we're in that. They're coming for them. And
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, if the technology is the enabler. If you're not sort of picking up on where you can go with tech, then we're not moving forward. And if we're not moving forward, then we're doing things poorly.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. How are the tractors?
They need
That
a
was
little more
a
time
bit
and
of one of
attention.
them, wasn't it? Are you able to enjoy the tractors more, or are you still finding yourself up in the air and
I will
flying
be.
around the
I will be
world?
soon. So I've got a few more things to wrap up to get a little more time on my hands. But I do enjoy tinkering on some of these old mechanical things. They're a lot of fun. Incredible
Okay.
machines, the way they were designed 100 years ago and still run. Yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah. I live in the depths of the English countryside down in the southwest, so I follow tractors down narrow lanes an awful lot. And you go, oh, I wonder what that does. So you are on a ranch. Presumably it is a working ranch, and you do things with these tractors.
So yes and no. So I do have a ranch. It's about 45 minutes north of the city. I actually live in the city here in Oklahoma. But it's not too far away, so I get out there. And so I do have some working tractors. We have cattle out there. And then I more or less inherited, when I acquired some land adjacent to us, a barn full of antique John Deere tractors.
Are they all John Deere?
Yeah, so going back to the 1920s.
Wow. So okay, if that was in the UK, someone would put a big museum of John Deere outside the barn, and and charged an admission fee to come in and see them. But
Maybe
probably
I should
all
do
your
that.
neighbours already know.
So if you've seen my
Oh, right.
LinkedIn page, that was a 1935 John Deere tractor that's been restored.
Well, it looks amazing. I'm going to look at that again because it does not look like a 1935 tractor.
It
But
is.
maybe that's just me not looking properly. Yeah, that could easily be. That could easily be. So, Marshall, I think I'm going to leave it at that because I'd rather than just do a long conversation with you today. I'd rather we came back again in another 6 months and sort of shoot the breeze again about
Okay.
how you're settling in to your not
Happy to
flying
do that,
around the
John.
world every day of the week. Good, excellent.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone for our little brief conversation today with Marshall Miles, newly retired but not quite gone yet CEO of Inventronics. And if you're not quite sure what Inventronics is about, because it is a new name for a lot of people in the architectural field, it's the company that took on Osram Digital Systems. So some of the kit has still got Osram written on it,
Yep.
but behind
Yep.
it now we've got this, as Marshall said, a relatively new electronics company, a global business doing fantastic work. I'm just going to. This is a plug now. That if you're looking at sports stadiums, huge, great marshalling yards and ports and docks and all of those big things, Inventronics is a very well known brand, Marshall. I'm right in saying that, aren't I? Yeah, and now we're going to see the name much more associated with interior architecture, and I'm looking forward to that.
You will.
Marshall, thank you very much for your time, and we will speak again soon.
All right.
Cheers then.
Thank you very much, Scott. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.